Roberson was my DARE officer, teacher, instructor, when I was in the 6th grade. And he's been an amazing mentor ever since. And I cannot remember a moment where, I believe there was some time we lost contact, but really major moments in my life, I cannot remember a moment you weren't there. Whether it was a message through my family when I was in Atlanta to say, hey, let her know that I'm thinking about her, saying prayers, good luck. Or when I came back home to stop by and see you, or you popping up, at one of my seminars when I came back home. You have definitely been a great example of service in my life.
Thank you.
And so I want you to have the opportunity to share your story. How did it all get started?
Okay, thank you. I'll be happy to. Wow. Let's see, where did I get started? I'm going to take you down memory lane for a second, okay? And let's go back to September the 4th, 1976. I'm living in Long Beach, California, and working at the Naval Shipyard, working as a custodian. I'm going to Long Beach City College during the day and working at night. And I had just bought a 1971 Buick Skylark. Okay, got to tell you just like it happened. Okay, canary yellow, white vinyl top, black bucket seats, automatic. And I'm, on this particular day, I'm in Hollywood, California, land of the stars. I'm in there, Hollywood and Vine, and driving. Next thing I know, I get pulled over by LAPD officers. Not just one, but there was anywhere from 5 to 7 officers. They pulled me over, guns pointed at me. I hear a guy on the PA saying, turn off the ignition, put your hands up. Next thing I know, someone grabs my driver's door, opened it, grabbed me, pulled me out on the ground, put a knee in my back, handcuffed me behind my back. Now, here's the hurting thing. At that time, I still remember wearing my Stacey Adams shoes, my white jeans, and I had a kind of blue jean top on, a little small afro going, and called myself being clean. I'm laying there on a dirty concrete, guns pointed at me. They tell me that I fit the description of a suspect that just robbed a liquor store. Now, they go through my car, go through my trunk. Only thing I had in my car in the ashtray was a bag of Captain Black tobacco. My brother smoked a pipe, and I liked the smell of that nice fragrance. Threw it all over the car. Looked like they're there for about 10 minutes maybe. Come, take my handcuffs off. No apology, no nothing, no explanation. I have no idea what the badge number is. All I know is about 5 to 7 white officers with gun drawn. I stand up, I lean against my car, and I just sort of shake my head because what can I do about it?
Right.
I don't even know who's who. I've heard all these things about LAPD.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's happening to me. So I get in my car, and by that time I'm really feeling in a bad way. So I drive back to Long Beach, and later that day I call my dad. He's in Louisiana, and I talk to him on the phone because we're very close. And I tell him what happened. And instead of him feeling what I call sympathy, or maybe he empathized with me, but he said, "Son, what you gonna do about it?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You can either be part of the solution or part of the problem." And I made up my mind that very day that the only way to change this system is to become a part of it. You can't change it from the outside in. But if I can get inside, I can change it from the inside out. And from that point, I began taking different tests and landed a job with the Stockton Police Department a few years later. And I promised myself that day I would never treat anyone the way LAPD treated me. Now, I went through a little over 30 years of law enforcement, and I've had a lot of dangerous assignments. I worked just about every assignment except traffic. And I've been involved in fights. Draw my gun, arrest guys for murder, rape, robbery, the whole 9 yards. And I've been involved in some good fights, and I love getting involved in a good fight. But the point is, I treat people with dignity and respect. Even the bad guys. Right. Even the guys that do terrible things. Okay? Once they're in handcuffs, hands off. They can talk crazy to me. They can call me names, whatever they want to do. But once the handcuffs are off, and even when they call me names, I get paid good to do this job. You know, I got stiff skin. You can see I'm a little smaller now, but I was into weightlifting. I was a big guy. I had tough shoulders, so I didn't care. I did my job. My job is to arrest the bad guy, do the proper report, and send it to the DA's office, and the DA goes from there. But the main thing is this. Here in the city of Stockton, and I need to share this, when I came on, we had approximately 21, not just minority black officers that came on with me. Went through the police academy. When I retired, I was the only one out of that 21 officers that retired.
Wow. Okay?
The only one. And for whatever reason, throughout my career, they slowly left. Sure, I understand discrimination was part of it. Very much a part of it. Okay? Putting you in a situation where you say, hey, I don't need to put up with this. I thank God that I grew up in the country. I thank God that I grew up with parents who were involved in church, and I think that was a big part of it. You know, being the son of a deacon and grandson of minister, and on both sides, great-grandson of ministers. Uncle was a minister. So my parents taught me how to deal, first of all, with racism, how to deal with difficult people. Not that it didn't affect me. It did affect me. It made me do a better job. It made me want to be in the school and try to recruit people and let them know that, hey, Stockton, sure, you may not like what's going on here, but you can't change it just talking about it. You know, telling our young brothers, instead of getting them a jacket, young men, when I was assigned to Edison High School, for example, you had young men there who, you know, used it as a time to make mistakes. When we were 16, 17, that's when we made mistakes.
Right.
But I'm not going to give a young man a misdemeanor or a felony when I can talk to the parents, I can talk to the victim. And I've had hundreds of calls where, for example, a young man might take someone, and technically it's a robbery. Anytime you take someone by force or fear. But instead of me giving this young man a jacket, I'll talk to the victim, and I'll say, let me handle it. And I'm going to use the terminology, and I hope it's not out of line. I said, let me chew his butt out. Okay? And I take that young man, I'm talking about my brothers now, I'm talking about black kids. I'll take him outside and I'll chew his butt out one side, upside one side, down the other. And when I finish, they'll say, oh man, I'm satisfied. And then I put that young man in the car and I drive him and I talk to him. I break him down and I bring him back. I say, here's the reason I did this. And I go home and talk to the parents. Rather than give your son a jacket, because I give him a jacket, he would never be a civil service. He would never be a fireman. He would never be a police officer. Sure, I know you can expunge your records.
Yeah.
But why put our kids through that?
Right.
We have enough difficulty right now. So that's pretty much my story as far as getting into law enforcement. And being involved with the schools gave me a chance to not only be a role model, but a chance to, those kids are like surrogates. Like I was like a surrogate dad. This young lady, she just wants, you know, she's special and always been special because my daughter went to Spelman and she went to Spelman. Okay? And we've been, but there were a lot of kids who needed what I felt like was a role model. And being there in school, in a uniform, badge, gun, the whole 9 yards, teaching, talking, taking them home, dealing with their issues, I think that's where we missed the mark today. I think if we're going to get back to that in the city of Stockton, we got to get back to neighborhood policing, first of all.
Yes.
Okay? And mainly what I'm saying, you put officers in a certain area, and you let them work that area. That's what we did. They put us out cleaning up different areas. I worked that area. I get to know everybody in that community. And see, I'm the type of guy, if I pull up and I see you playing chess, that's my game. Better not see you playing chess, because I'm going to stop my patrol car, and I'm gonna watch you, and I'm gonna get near. The way
Right.
I go to church in the community. Even if I wasn't a member of that church, I make a point to visit that church and let them know, hey, Officer Roberson's in the house. Okay? And I'm not just here to write tickets to take people to jail. I'm here to make a difference.
Right.
If something goes on in the community, if you don't feel comfortable calling someone else, call me. I'll come to your house. I'll come to your church. I'll give you my private number, whatever the deal is. You know, we don't call it snitching, taking care of business, protecting ourselves. Because the other guy may not necessarily do what I'm going to do or what one of the other officers. And I'm not the only officer that does that. You have a lot of officers who care about people. You know, I'm talking a lot.
No, it's talk radio.
That's what
what you were talking about, neighborhood policing. Like, who actually makes those decisions? Is it just the chief to just send them out? Can an officer say, no, I don't want to go in this area? Yes, I do want to go in this area. Can an officer volunteer for a certain area? How does that work within the police department?
Okay, first of all, you are assigned certain areas. Okay, these are decisions that can be made by the chief of police, and it goes all the way down through the watch commander, sergeant, to the officer. You can request to work certain areas.
Okay.
Okay, there were times when I requested to work certain areas. I worked the south side a lot. I worked the east side. There were times when they assigned me on the east side because early in my career, there's a lot of crack cocaine going down, things like that. Myself and another black officer, we were assigned to work that area, and we worked that area for about 6 months. And we not only worked that area, we made a difference. We helped clean up that area. So you can be assigned to that area, but these are decisions that can be made by the chief and decisions that can be made by the city council. And this is where most of the departments who are making a difference are going back to community police. Stockton is that kind of city where you gotta have.
Yeah.
If you got a different face every week, the officer does not have a respect that not only that he deserved, but community don't know you.
Right.
But if they know you and I know you, I can pull up and say, hey, you know, I work with officers as a training officer, for example. You had young officers that they were put with me, and I think it wasn't just about that, but I think it was because of my people skills.
Right.
Because I knew how to deal with people. I pull up. I'll never forget the incident that happened at 8th and Phelps. And 8th and Phelps at that time was kind of a little rowdy area.
Yeah.
Okay. The white officer's driving, I'm riding shotgun, and he's working me for a couple of days. We pull up, stop the vehicle, expired registration, no tags. And he gets out, and I stand on the side of the door. He walks up to the driver's side, and the next thing I know is a big argument. And the brother steps out the car, and the brother's about 6'4", and this guy's about 5'9", 5'10".
Oh, God.
And he's all nervous, and his hand's right here on his, you know, and I kind of want to see how far it would go. I knew the guy. So I saw it was going a little further. The other guy got out the car, said, hey, get back in the car. He got back in the car. I walked up, called the guy by name. He's Officer Roberson, this guy, you know, blah, 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 blah. I talked with him later about how to handle that situation, but the point I'm making is this. If you know situation, if they know you, it makes a big difference. Yeah. Now, perhaps if I wasn't there, things could have escalated. But when you got an officer that knows the area, knows most of the people in the area, he or she can make a big difference. Yeah. And we need black females, we need black males in particular. I know we have minority and we throw that word out, but minority can be anybody. Right. It can be Hispanic, can be women, can be Native Americans, but I'm talking about black officers. Right. Right now in the city of Stockton, I surmise on the fire department you may have less than 5 blacks. On the police department you may have 10. You may have, I'm not really sure how many we have now. But I do know if you got 300 police officers, right, and we represent 13% of the population, then that representation should exist in the police department. Yeah. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
I mean, I went through the excuses like everybody else. We can't find anybody. Okay, they don't pass the psych. Okay, well, that's psych anybody on any given day can blow the psych.
Right.
I probably can't pass the psych now. The chief probably can't pass the psych now. But the bottom line is they had a drug issue. Well, everybody now smoked marijuana. A lot of people have tried cocaine. So these little things you can't hold against people. Okay, they'll ask you, have you tried it within the past 6 months, on and on. Okay, but things like, you have a record. Anybody can get a record on any given day. You know, you can stop a guy and he said the wrong thing. Next thing you know, he's in handcuffs, and he's being arrested for resisting arrest. So, to say a guy has a record, as long as it's not a major felony, and even some departments now, because of the shortage of police officers, are looking over certain things, especially misdemeanors. I'm not saying put a guy on who has a record, he's a robber, a burglar. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But I'm saying small misdemeanors.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, when a guy is 18, 19 years old, that's the time that you make mistakes. There got to be room for forgiveness there.
Yeah.
And the police department is no different.
And I believe anyone who wants to be an officer, period, who is inquiring, should be looked at. I mean, that's not something that's not working at Food for Less. That's not you know what? I heard you guys were hiring and I need some money. That's not a career that somebody would just jump into by happenstance. So I believe if there are any men or women, Black, of African descent, should definitely look into it as not only just a job, but a career goal to make a difference. Now, me,
Absolutely.
I don't know how true this is to other people. I'm just a little too emotional. I see somebody crying, I'm going to sit by and cry with them. I don't think I'll be a good officer. Hands and cry and all that, and then I'm spending all my time on this one situation versus getting the job done and moving on. But I do want to make sure that anyone who's listening, I really do. I want to charge the community to at least apply.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And you would probably be exactly the kind of officers that's needed. You need an officer with sensitivity. There have been a lot of times I've cried, and what I mean is you're empathizing with victims, things that are happening. Okay? There have been times when I arrested suspects, and I felt bad about it because, you know, this person was coerced into a situation of defense. But yet, for example, domestic violence. An officer comes out to your house, and you're the husband, and you're the wife or girlfriend or what have you. 9 times out of 10, if there's any marks on your face, the law says he's going to jail. Yeah. Okay. Now it might reverse itself in certain cases. She's going to jail. Okay. But most of the time, it's the man who's going to jail. So there's no problem with what you just said. And I don't call it being weak. We need officers who care. That's one of the problems now. We don't have enough officers who are sensitive to, especially cultural things. And you just can't go in a classroom and teach cultural sensitivity in 2 hours.
Right.
You got to get out there and get involved in the community.
That's true.
And you got to understand what's what. And I find the best way to get involved in any culture is to experience it. I don't care if they're, for example, with the Southeast Asian, I had a lot of friends who were involved in, and they know I love food. Yeah. And when they cook and banquet, the best way I get involved, and once you get involved in certain culture, they start looking. That's my officer. I know Officer Roberson. Call Officer Roberson. Anything comes up there, you know, this not can just be for me, but can be for all the officers in the city of Stockton. That's what we need. We need more officers. We need better officers, and we definitely need Black officers. And I would encourage anyone to apply to the police department, to get involved, to make a difference in your community. And that's the reason why I got involved, because I had a bad experience, but I got involved because I care about people. I care about my community. I live here in Stockton. I've adopted Stockton as my home. Therefore, I love Stockton. And I'm not gonna. You would never find me bad mouthing. Sure, we got issues, but most cities outside have issues.
Definitely.
I mean, you can look and say we got 300-some thousand people here, and we average 50 homicides, which is excessive. We understand that. Okay, Chicago, it may be averaging 1,000.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
New Orleans, Oakland, but this is our home, and that's why I want to see more black officers on this department. I want to see our chief of police make an extra effort to hire more officers. I want somebody when they come out. I want to see somebody that look like me.
Right.
For a change. I don't want to ride down the street and don't see and wonder do they have any black officers in this town?
I can honestly say on my side of town, I've lived there for 3 years. I have yet to see a black officer. I have yet to see a black officer. I will go as far as to say, according with my memory, I have yet to see a minority officer, woman, or any color, Hispanic or not. All the officers that I've seen in my side of Stockton for the past 3 years at least have been white males. That's all I've seen. I haven't, I do go back home. Southside Stockton is where I grew up, but I'm not there around the times when officers are there a lot, so I don't see them. And when I'm there, I'm inside. I'm not out in the street, so I can't say that for the whole city. But I do know for North Stockton, anywhere past, I would say, Ben Hope, and going further towards Lodi, 8 Mile, for the past 3 years, I've only seen white male officers. I haven't, in Stockton period, I haven't seen any women officers since I've been back home. But no Hispanic or Asian or anything. So that is something that we definitely need to talk to. But we're going to take a break. Right now, we're going to go to commercial break. This is some good stuff. I love it. We want to get more into what's going on in Stockton directly with officers, and how can we as citizens and our role and help officers with some challenges that they may have. So you guys that are listening, make sure you like our page, KXVS, the Voice of Stockton, on Facebook. Like our morning show page, Rise and Shine 209, to watch the live stream. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is Miz J, Alex, and London here with Larry Roberson. I'm so excited to be here. You guys stay tuned.
Here at KXVS.
Doing great.